Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So for those who don't know, I'm Alicia and I've been interviewing inspirational people to find out how they've become the person they are today. Now this week I interviewed Mike Winnet, who's a very successful YouTuber and also a very successful entrepreneur, to find out how he's become successful and why he does what he does. Now, a lot of you will know Mike for his podcast, the Entrepreneur Series, which basically exposes these people who sell online courses. Here's how it went. Welcome to my channel. To begin with, if you could just introduce yourself.
So I am Mike Winnet, and I am what you would call a professional get-rich-quick ad clicker. That is what I do for a living. You see the adverts of how to become financially free. I click those adverts and buy all the courses and then let you know whether it works or not on my YouTube channel. That's it.
Very interesting though, because I always wonder, what you see on the ads, are they real, aren't they real? So it's perfect that we've got your channel to come to. What made you want to start your YouTube channel?
I had my own business that I set up in 2015 with some of my friends, and I was lucky enough to grow it to be worth £8 million and sell it in 2017. So within 2 years, I had become a millionaire. And when I sold my business, they gave me the money on the Friday and told me not to come into work on the Monday. But I wasn't allowed to do what I was good at doing for 2 years as part of the sale. So I was a working class lad with a few £1 million in his pocket and nothing else to do. So I just thought, what do you do if you actually get money? Because everybody tells you there's loads of advice out there on how to grow a business, how to attract customers, how to do social media marketing, but there's not very much information available to people, which is what actually happens when you achieve the goal that you've always wanted to do. And I looked around and I couldn't find any unbiased advice. Anybody that was saying invest money with me, it looked a bit shady. It was either people saying it didn't work at all, and there was people saying that it was the easiest way to make money and you're an idiot if you work the 9 to 5 grind. So I just thought, if there's no content I can trust, why don't I just make the content that I wish was around 2 years ago? And that's how I started.
Okay, and what was your business prior to starting YouTube?
So it was an online, so it was making content for big corporate companies to train their staff. So you've all done it probably when you join a new job, and part of your induction is to do a cybersecurity course or a data protection course. It's just multiple choice questions.
Mm-hmm.
So we made resources and that type of training content a bit more engaging, a bit more fun. And that's where I learned how to make content, and that, for my YouTube channel. But I was making courses. Yeah, I was making courses for training basically. But where it was clever or where it was different was, instead of, I made content that could work on anybody's system, and I ended up being the software on all their systems. So I could basically work with competitors rather than against them. And we grew really quickly, 340 corporate customers, all brands that Topshop, Topman, Matalan, Mothercare, the Football Association, like pretty much anybody that's on the high street were using my training content to train their staff. People called it the Netflix of learning because of how it was set out and how the subscription model worked. We grew really quickly, and then one of our competitors bought us out. They offered 7 million on the Friday. They said it wasn't enough, and then they offered us 8 million on the Monday, and then the rest was history. Sold it. So what happened was, when I sold my business and I realized how hard it was, bearing in mind I'd worked in startup businesses for 6 years, I did loads of learning, did loads of research, reading, like looking at what successful people had done, and then implemented it in my own business, and then actually became a millionaire. I found it annoying that there'd be a 23-year-old kid draped over a lime green Lambo telling me that he can achieve far better results in just 4 hours a week from his laptop.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, what an idiot I am for actually working really hard, coming up with a good idea, setting up my own business, growing it, employing staff, and then selling that business when I could have been doing it through Amazon, FBA, or drop shipping or cryptocurrency. So I just thought, why don't I start following some of these kids around and some of these experts around, actually doing some digging on them, seeing if their results are as good as they say, and spending my own money to either prove or disprove their courses.
So I just want to talk a little bit about your business, what you sold, in terms of just trying to find out like how you did it really. So how did you come up with that initial idea?
So I was 29 years old. I'm 36 now, but I was 29 at the time, and I was in a well-paid job. So I was in a startup business. I'd been there for 4 years, and I was like one of the first employees. So I'd basically seen it grow from all of us just sat with one phone around one desk to having 13 offices around the country, and I'd been involved in all that. So I learned so much from actually working in a startup and getting paid for my learning rather than paying a discounted price for a 4-week course, actually working in a business and getting paid. So, and then I just thought really I'd helped grow that business, and I'd helped grow a business before that for 2 years as well. So I learned kind of what was right, what was wrong with business. I kind of learned things that I definitely wouldn't do, and I learned things that I definitely would do. And then I kind of came up with a model for a business, which was you had to find a sector that was underserviced. So you need to find a sector where you could actually make an impact. It needed to be a subscription-based business, so you were getting money coming in every month rather than tying all your money up in stock and having to find new sales every month. So there was almost like a checklist. I won't bore you with it, but I sort of like worked out a checklist. Anyway, I walked out of that job, and I used to get paid after tax. It was about £4,500 a month after tax. So it was about 70 grand a year, which was like decent money. And I had a baby on the way, and I just came home at like 10 in the morning, just said, I've quit work. It's like, what are you doing? My wife was like fuming about it. And I just said, I just think I can do this myself now. Like I've been reading about money, and I've been reading about wealth, and I've been doing all this research. I've worked in startup business. I've got confidence in my ability to make this work. And then I just went online and was looking for what jobs were available just out of interest. And all of them said the same thing. Pretty much 95% of all the job ads were saying, must work well in a team, must be efficient with their time, good communicator. And I just thought, everyone's got a GCSE in English or French or German or science, but where do you prove that you're good at time management? Where do you prove that you're good at working in a team? So out of interest, I just went online, looked at some courses to see time management course, and it was a 4-hour course, multiple choice. And I thought the irony of a time management course that's 4 hours just blew my mind. And so then I thought this idea, if I want to learn something at home, and I don't know if you're the same thing, I go on YouTube and I want to find it. I look for the shortest video to tell me the answer I want. So it could be, in your example, it might be how to grow to 1,000 subscribers or how to grow to 10,000 subscribers. If there's a 45-minute video and a 3-minute video, which one are you going to watch?
3 minute.
So I just thought, why do we learn at work in a completely different way to what we're used to learning in our everyday life? And that's when the penny dropped. Why don't I just make that boring work learning for the YouTube generation? Why don't I take your time management course and say, here is one skill that will make you better at time management in 2 minutes? So I just took that concept and then took it to the mass market. And then, you won't believe this now, it sounds like I'm making it up. I wrote down on a piece of paper a figure and a date that I was going to sell the business. And I backwards planned from that date. So I knew I was going to sell the business within 3 years. And I worked out how many customers I would need at what price to enable me to sell the business at that date. And it sounds like I'm making it up, but in the first year I wrote down that I'd get 80 customers. And on between Christmas and New Year, I got my 80th customer in year 1. Year 2, I wrote down 200 customers in year 2. So because it was subscription based, I still had the 80 customers from year 1 paying me. So I had 280 customers by the end of year 2, and then I sold the business when I got to 340 customers in year 3. And by the way, I'm not like an intelligent person. I'm not super smart. I'm not very articulate. I'm not. My GCSEs are average. I got 6 Bs, 3 Cs. The only difference was I just ask better questions. I think that was the biggest difference between myself, because now I get frustrated at the questions I get asked by people that want to tell me how you did it. But they ask the wrong questions. They want me to tell them, how can I make £1 million in 6 months? Or how can I become a millionaire in 9 days? That was never the question I asked. I wanted to learn how people had done it and then go and do it myself, rather than you spoon feed me an answer.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I think I was more successful than, say, other people that try to, you know, start their own business and scale their own business.
Would you say that having that plan, having that target helped?
Yeah, so backwards planning is probably the most important thing I can say. Like, if you don't know what good looks like, or if you don't know what success actually looks like, what you're working towards, and it baffles me sometimes. I speak to business. What's weird now is people talk to me about business all the time. It's mad. I've kind of become an expert in business, where, truth be told, anyone can fluke one business. Like, and there's also an element of looking at. A lot of people want it to sound like they're super clever and they're like this amazing business brain, but ultimately I could do all the right things, but it still required an element of luck, where another business valued the business at what I thought we would and then would buy it. And I think sometimes, especially these gurus, these idiots selling you stuff from the stage, they can't guarantee the results because there's so many variables outside your controls. But having that plan and very clear sight on what my end goal was meant that when other things came along, like shiny things, and I'll give you an example of one. So I wasn't paying myself a wage. I didn't take a wage for the first 9 months, which is crazy. I was living on savings basically that time. I worked out how much my bills were. And then for a year before I quit my job, I saved up that amount of money, so I knew I could get by for 9 months without taking a wage. So that gave me a real good chance at not half-assing it, actually 100%, your bills are paid. But that meant I wasn't going out on the lash. I didn't have like a car on lease. I lived in the same house. I still drove the same 13-plate Ford Focus after I sold my business for 8 million. Like, but I could have got a Range Rover in month 6 if I wanted to and paid 600 quid or 700 quid. But because I had a plan, I didn't want to look rich in my first year. I wanted to be rich at the end of my 3rd year.
So I suppose it's a bit of self-belief in there as well, because you have to believe in yourself that,
Yeah.
you're going
Yeah,
to.
it's weird. This is very contradictory, and I'm a Gemini, so that you get used to this, but I was 100% confident. I used to say to myself, not like every day in the mirror, like that type of shit, because I don't believe in any of that type of shit. The law of attraction is bullshit. It's the law of action. You can put whatever you want on your vision board, but if you're not going to do anything about it, it's not. You can read 100 books a year. You can listen to all the audiobooks you want to. You're better off reading one book and implementing one thing from that book, in my opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
Too many people want to take a photo of the stack of books they're reading to look like they're smart, rather than read one of them and do the thing that it's telling you. Like, that's the secret. Just be a little bit better this week than you were last week. Don't say I'm gonna. Even with the gym, I'm going to start doing loads of cardio. I'm going to start eating right. It's like, don't do all them things at once. Just do one of the things and stick to it for a bit, and then add another thing in and another thing in, like incremental growth. Anyway, so I was 100% confident I was going to be a millionaire in 3 years. And I remember saying it to someone we had like a Christmas party around my house, and he was like laughing at me. He's a little bit older than me, one of my friends. We're not friends anymore, but he was one of my friends at the time. And I used to say, I'm a millionaire, just other people have got my money at the moment. I just need to go and get it off them.
Like that.
And that was it. But when it was happening, especially when it was going through the sale process, because it was such a quick sale, I felt like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I've never experienced this before. I'm well out of my depth. This is a big American company that they'd acquired 13 businesses over a 2-year period. So you were at their mercy. And I felt like, when they offered 7 million quid, I'll be honest, I was sat there like, oh my God, 7 million quid, like literally, like, bearing in mind that's like life-changing money. But then part of me is thinking, no, you've got to play it cool, because 7 million, they know it's worth more. If they didn't think it was worth more, they wouldn't be offering 7 million. Whereas, and it was like that. It was almost like an internal battle. Have you ever heard of imposter syndrome?
No, explain.
So it's like, yeah, so I'd get imposter syndrome sometimes. Like, so I'd be sat there in a meeting with a multi-million-pound company who incidentally bought our business for 8 million and then sold it about 9 months later for about 22 million. And then the business as a group got sold for 2.6 billion. So if we had held on to it, we could have made mega money. But I don't think about that. I just look at what I wanted in the time frame. So I got what I wanted. I don't think I lost money or I missed out. I set my goal, what I was happy with, I achieved that thing. So I'm happy, I'm good to make that amount of money in just 3 years work. But I used to get imposter syndrome where I used to think I'm not good enough to get this, and I don't know enough, and I'm just winging it. And I'm from a place called Warrington. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I used to just think I'm just a dickhead from Warrington, and they're going to be able to see through me now. Like you can put a suit on me or a tie and stuff, and I go to these meetings, but they know that I'm just pretending. And I used to have those doubts, but simultaneously have well, fuck that. I managed to grow this business, scale it, sell it in America, Australia. None of these idiots have.
How did you deal with that battle of,
Well, I was lucky, I suppose, because there was it wasn't just me on my own. There was 4 of us, so we kind of you always had someone to sort of bounce ideas off and soundboard your ideas. And I don't know, it was like someone was sharing the experience with you. There was that, but also the product was good. We were absolutely steamrolling our competitors. We were taking business off our competitors left, right, and center. So that doesn't happen accidentally. So the 2 choices were either buy us out, or we will just keep taking your clients until you've got no choice. So one being just having an idea, growing, where every sale feels like a win. I preferred selling the product for £350 when I had no customers. That was more exciting to me than selling it for like 10, 20 grand towards the end, because it was boring then. It was easy. I like the chaos of a startup business, and that's why I've got like 2 businesses now, just about to open a 3rd one. I need that to keep myself sane, otherwise I would go a bit nuts, if I'm honest.
Would you mind me asking how much you actually started that original business for?
None. I saved up 12 grand of to cover my bills for. I didn't have an investor. And I think a lot of businesses fails now because they spend so much time trying to raise funds for their idea.
Mm-hmm.
They raised £1 million for their idea, and then what do? They pay themselves a wage out of that £1 million. No wonder you're going to fail. You think you've made it. You think you're a millionaire. We started with nothing, and we ate what we killed. If we did not sell something that month, the gig was over. We were finished. And when you've not got a pot to piss in and no money coming in, I absolutely guarantee you will work hard. And do you want to know something?
Go on.
I never had social media at all. So I'd never had Facebook before. I'd never had Instagram. I never had YouTube. I had no interest in that stuff because it is a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching gym motivation videos. Like, why are you watching them on YouTube? Just go to the gym. Like, this stuff isn't difficult. So I never knew. I don't know if you know who Gary Vee is and people like that.
Yeah,
Gary Vaynerchuk or Grant Cardone. I never knew any of these people existed. I never knew there was people actually on stage telling you how to get rich. I never knew, because do you know why? I was too busy actually making my own business and growing it. So that's it. So I just started the Mike Winnet channel, as I knew I wanted to almost put like an unbiased review of investment things and assets. So everybody's heard of drop shipping, affiliate marketing. Can you make money from a YouTube channel? Can you make money through cryptocurrency? So I just thought, you know what, for a bit of a joke, I will put £500,000 into a pot, and I will do all those things that I see in the adverts, and anything that funny that happens, I would just do episodes on them. And then on my 5th or 6th video, it just blew, really. Did like 500,000 views on my 6th ever YouTube video.
I have to say, I love your YouTube channel. Like, I find it's funny.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit weird. I'm a grown man. I mean, I cringe sometimes. I cringe at thumbnails, and I cringe at, like, I've got a thing where I won't ask people to subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's because I'm a grown man, I suppose. And also as well, I know it might sound mad. If I woke up tomorrow and I only had 10,000 subscribers, I wouldn't be asked in the slightest. It makes no difference to the work I'm doing. Nothing of value. I place no value on it.
Mm-hmm.
And weirdly, because I don't have any value on it, like my LinkedIn went to 73,000 followers on LinkedIn. That's the biggest platform that I'm on. And I did a post actually saying, I don't mind writing, I fucking hate you all. I don't care about writing that. Because if I wake up tomorrow and 30,000 are gone, it makes zero. It's like, because it's not real. And that's, I think, none of that stuff's real to me.
Do you think that's why you have been successful? Because you're not taking shortcuts to get places, you're doing it all properly, you're not really bothered overly, but at the same time you are putting 110% effort in, regardless to who's going to watch it or...
It's just, I hold myself to high standards. It's like, I'm only doing it for me. Like weirdly, I'm thinking, what did I want to see 2 years ago when I had a lump sum of money? That's it. So I'm making content for myself 2 years ago. I wish there was like an unbiased video I could watch on, does crypto mining work? So it's like, well, just make that episode that you exactly how you would have wanted to have seen it. And that's it. And if people want to watch it, cool. If people don't, who the fuck cares? I'm still making it. My podcast has taken off so much. And this is one of the business. My podcast, I only did 10 episodes. It got 2 million downloads. And then people started asking me, can I like manage their podcast for them? Can I? So I'm building a podcast studio. I'm building a podcast studio starting on Tuesday next week.
Okay.
And I'm doing like full podcast management. You can come in. It's like, fully soundproof, all lit up. It can be branded as yours internally. And it's just, I'm lucky enough now to be able to do odd things for an actual living.
Which is nice. It's a nice position to be in.
But I used to make more money when I worked, by the way. Like none of this passive income works. I paid myself more as a wage. I earned more money, I had more money in my hands at the end of every month in the last 6 months of me working in that business than at any time after I sold it. And I know it's a strange thing to say, and people might think it's an arrogant thing to say, but it's not. It's because we are not financially literate. We don't get taught this stuff in school. £2 million is not as much money as you think. If you put £1 million in the bank, I hear people say, and it annoys me sometimes, my son plays football, and I hear a lot of the parents talking on the sidelines and stuff, they talk about money and that. I just keep quiet. Sometimes their perception of what they would do with a lump sum of money or how far money can go blows my mind. At the moment, the banks pay 0.1 to 1% interest. So if you had £1 million in your bank, you're earning between £1,000 and 10 grand a year on £1 million. Now you spend more than that now. So then you would start eating away at your £1 million. So then next year, it might only make £900 or 9 grand. And people don't see this. You actually lose money if you have £1 million in the bank because inflation is 3%. Now, I learned all these things from not a course, not a guru trying to tell me things. I learned all these things from reading books by people like Warren Buffett and like actual genuine people that we know are successful, that don't sell you a course and don't spend half their life telling you they're successful. They're just tried and tested, well-known, successful people. So I put some of my money in things that Warren Buffett said, which are the ones that seem to be working, properties, and then some of it, just to prove a point, might be the wrong way to put it, just to test them because I was a little bit curious, like, do all the other things work? And so far, it is 0 out of 6 has achieved anything like the returns promised by the guru. And this is the arrogant bit, possibly, I'm not an idiot in the sense that I don't know how to run a business. Mm-hmm. So I understand the basics of business. And so where some people might start doing drop shipping, and this is where I think the problem happens, they've never worked for themselves before, they've never run a business before, and they don't know anything about drop shipping. So right there, you've got 3 things that you're not very good at and you've never done before, and you're expecting to be successful at it. Well, I have run my own business. I do understand about running my own business and working for myself. So I only have to learn one thing and implement that. And I still can't do it. Yeah. And so if I can't do it and I already know the other bits, what chance has anybody got if they don't understand any of it at all? And they'd never heard of dropshipping before a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Not a lot. What would you say has been that big challenge, what you faced?
So the biggest challenge I would say was no longer having a job and then having all that time on your hands. Like in terms of how that affects your mental health, I used to feel embarrassed about going on the school run because I didn't move house. Like I still lived in the same house, same car, and I used to just take my kids to school every day. And then some people would ask you also, what do you do for a living? And then you sound a dick saying, oh, well, actually, I sold my business. But then you also feel a dick like saying, oh, I don't do anything. I'm not working at the moment. So you kind of feel like I lost my identity. The best way to describe it was, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but Joe Rogan did a podcast with Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury had mental health issues since he won the world title. And basically, he described it far better than I can. But when you've been working all your life to a certain point to achieve something, when you achieve it, it kind of feels empty. Like you might think, if I had £2 million in my bank account, I'd do this, I'd do that, I'd be buzzing. That lasts about a day, you know, or 2 days. Like, I mean, there's been times afterwards where I might go, oh wow, I can't believe this has happened. But I would honestly say that maybe happened 5 times in the year afterwards, where I'd actually think like, oh wow, what a lucky or privileged position I'm in. The rest of the time you're thinking, right, now I've not got money coming in every month like a wage. It's like, it's such a big lump sum that you don't know what to do with it. Well, you kind of know you should buy a house or you should invest in property, but you don't know that much about it. It's almost like you have the same amount of money worries and issues that you have when you've got no money. It's just the worries are completely different, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I learned was, and it's such a cliche, and I feel like such a dick, and I guarantee people watching this will be saying, well, I wouldn't let that happen to me, because I used to think that. I used to think, well, if I just had £1 million, it would sort all these other problems out. But all those other problems are still in your head, still in your heart, still in your life. It's like they are still there. Money doesn't solve anything. But when you're working or you're in a business, you're distracted from them problems. But when you're no longer working, that's the only thing you can hear. And then also as well, I know it's a weird thing to say, all my mates were at work. So literally, you're there, you can't even phone your mates to say, do you want to go and do something? Because then they're at work. And then if you did go somewhere and you said, oh, does everyone want to drink? Half the people there would think you're being Billy Big Balls, you're flashing the cash, you're offering to buy everyone a drink. And then the other half of people are thinking, if you didn't offer, oh, you tight bastard. Like, you've got all this money, you won't even sort your friends out. And I lost more friends in the 6 months after getting my money. And it's easy to say it's because you changed, as in me, because I got money. But it wasn't. The way they would talk to me would change, and conversations became weird. So like a normal conversation, say if we're friends, we might be walking on the school run or whatever, or talk on the playground, and you might say, well, I can't believe it, the engine's gone on my car, or my tires have gone, it's going to cost me 300 quid to fix. So that's a normal conversation people might have. Or they might say, oh, I've just booked flights to wherever, Ibiza, and it's cost me £1,000, whatever like that. But then my mates would be, oh no, I'm not asking you to sort me out. I'm like, I didn't think you were asking me to sort me out.
So how, like when people are asking you them questions, are saying, hinting, and you're thinking that, how do you cope?
It might not be, that's the mad thing, isn't it? That it's like, then you start, that's the thing, sometimes you're thinking, are they? And then you can tell they're thinking, I don't want to talk about this to him, which is a normal conversation because he might think I'm asking.
How do you cope with that? How do you cope with, in theory, it's a mental battle, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't really. I think you just see who's happy for you, I suppose, and you see who generally supports you. And it was interesting to see who came around the house and brought like a bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne to come and celebrate with us. And you'd be surprised at the ones that didn't. But some of them have been friends with you for years. And there's other ones that were like, you wouldn't have considered really good friends, and they were made up for you, but not made up for you in like a hands out type of way. And then there's other people that would say, can you give me 10 grand? Like, why? Like when I wasn't paying myself a wage, and you'd come round and you'd ask me how work was, and I'd say, shit, if I don't sell anything this month, it's like game over, the business is finished. I need like £500 to pay my bills. I don't remember at any point you saying, do you want me to lend you 500 quid to help you out? And it's that kind of starts to play on your mind a little bit. And I had that, by the way. I had some people that they liked it when I was struggling, and they loved it when I was saying like, oh, they were in like really well-paid jobs and stuff. And I'd be like, oh, do you know what? There was lads in my business, I paid more money than I was taking myself, like, because I knew long-term it would work out better for me. But it's mad to try and explain to someone, I own the business and I get paid half the amount of money that one of my sales staff gets paid. I pay myself half.
That shows a good boss.
It's like a gift and a curse, really. And that's why I started the Mike Winnet character, because Mike Winnet's not my real name. Mike's my actual real name, but my surname's different.
Mm-hmm.
And it was done as a parody business guru. So I just did it as a bit of a joke, because I had nothing else to do, really, and to keep my mind active. So I would give, almost like when I'd hear a guru say something that I thought was like absolute bullshit business advice or really stupid, I would like parody it and take the piss out of it and kind of explain why it was bullshit, but in a funny way. But I did it in a way that I was the guru. So I set myself up as the UK's #1 demotivational speaker. So I would like say, I'd give you like demotivational like reasons to like, don't quit your job. This is hard, and no, you're not going to be successful because you're lazy or you're not very intelligent. And it was just like, I said all the opposite of what these gurus, like, anyone can do it. Anyone can be financially free. I was like, well, they can't. Look at the stats. Only 1 in 500 people becomes a millionaire. So only 0.2% of you can actually do it. And if you are one of those 0.2%, you won't be bothered by what I'm saying, because you will know that you're one of them people. So I'm not going to demotivate anybody that hasn't got it in them already. So I just started that as a bit of a joke, set up a fake website, and then I was on a sold out tour. And this is where the maddest thing happened. People started leaving reviews for my events that had never happened. I never put on any events.
They actually?
Yeah, it was mad. I was getting like 5-star reviews. Mike Winnet changed my life. Then like some of my, I do like posts, like blogs and stuff, where I'd give really shit business advice. Like, earn more money now, forget about your family. It's called work-life balance because work is the most important. Otherwise it'd be called life-work balance. Just like really stupid shit. Then it made it onto like the national radio, and they were talking about how bad a boss I was. And like I was the worst employer in the UK in a fake company that didn't even exist. I was just doing it as a joke. And then I started to like look at everything that a guru is, and all of them are best-selling authors. I don't know if you've seen that. So they're all like number one best-selling authors. So as a piss take, I researched how I could do that myself. And I wrote a book which just said blank page on every page. And I got a blank book to number one on Amazon. So I'm officially an Amazon best-selling author with a blank book. And I just found this stuff kind of funny. And I was just almost like, anything a guru did to almost say why he was amazing, I was showing you like how to hack it or cheat the system or fake it. And then lo and behold, I ended up going to meet Gary V. He asked me to come over and see him. And then I've had like television networks asking if they can turn my Entrepreneur series into a TV series, which again, when I say like I'm a lucky person, and this is why I sometimes feel a bit like I wish I was more excitable about these things or actually give a shit, because there are people out there that would probably love to have a Netflix series. That is their dream. Yeah. I've turned it down twice. Like, I don't want to be on Netflix. I've got no interest, because why? You're probably going to make me do stuff that I don't want to do. You're going to tell me what content to make, and you're going to tell me where you want me to film and when you want me to film. Like, I'm not interested. And then, so I turned them down twice, and BBC Three, and I've had a meeting with Paramount as well. And they all said the same thing. They go, oh, it's so funny that you've not even asked about money, but I'm not asked about money. I don't want the exposure. I'd rather just be 100% in control of what I do. And if I want to turn it off tomorrow because I'm bored of it, I'll just turn it off. That's kind of my mindset with everything. And I'm not just like that because I had the business and I made some money. I was like that in the business. I didn't want the money from Google because it just didn't make sense to me. I always say, take the money out of decisions. Would you do this thing? I don't know if you get this stuff now. I get asked to endorse so much shit every week on YouTube. Literal, absolute bullshit. And as a piss take, I say, I take the piss out of them a little bit because I'm going to make an episode about all the bullshit that I've been offered. Okay. But I also say, can I be 100% honest? That's my stipulation, is you let me say 100% what I think about your product. And every single one of them says no. They will not earn money left, right, and center. I could probably earn 10 grand a week just from endorsements off my YouTube channel. But there's nothing there that I think A, is worth it, B, is actually good, or C, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, I should have said whatever, is relevant to my audience. And I think that's more important to me than fucking promoting, I don't know, glitter eyeshadow or something that's going to make me look 3 years younger or some bullshit like that. Charcoal toothpaste.
Now, you see yourself as like an inspirational, I mean, you've mentioned quite a few times, like you do it as a bit of a laugh, something to do, but you are influencing so many people just by your platforms. How does that actually make you feel?
It's annoying. Honestly, if you saw my DMs, I get about 120, 140 a week. They're probably the same. I wish I had auto answers set up. I used to think I'm saving vulnerable people and I'm helping vulnerable people and getting scammed. But having listened and spoke to a group of these people over the last 2 years, some of them I just think, for fuck's sake, the guru is not the problem here. You are the problem. There'd be stuff like this. I've been scammed by XYZ. 7 different gurus have took $25,000 off me over the last 3 years. But do you think this guru's the one that's going to save me? It's like, There's one common denominator there, mate. It's you. Like, you are the problem. Stop thinking American strangers that are posing pictures on Instagram on a jet give a fuck about you that lives in Basingstoke and you're paying on a credit card. They do not care. And I am bored that I have to keep telling you this shit.
Do you know what I find funny? I've contacted a few people who are these gurus. Not one of them will do an interview. Not one of them.
It's the bullshitters. The bullshitters. You know, so what's funny, and this is probably why I don't get shit off them that much, and why I'm not threatened with legal action and stuff like that, because most people, and I think this is what makes my YouTube channel unique, and in a weird way, there's been a few kind of like exposing gurus type channels that have popped up over the last sort of like year, but all of them are opinion. It's someone saying, I think, and I'll just name names if you want, Grant Cardone's a scam, or Ty Lopez is a scam, or Gary Vee's a scam, or Dan Locke, or Brian Rose, whoever it is, there's millions of them. They're a scam. But they've never actually been on their course, signed up, and actually tried doing the thing for a year or 2 years. Yeah. But I have. So I'm not giving my opinion. I am just reporting my very own personal experience and results. So I am arguing fact. I am just saying, I have done absolutely everything your How to Monetize a Podcast course tells me to do. You told me I'd make 10 grand a month. I'm making £300 a month. One of us is a bullshit.
Yeah.
And it ain't me, because I don't benefit from telling people it's £300. I'm not selling you a course on how to spot a fake guru. I'm just saying, I did his course, it was rubbish. And don't get me wrong, if something works, I'll let you know if it works, and you can watch that for free.
I think it's brilliant, you know, like you're trying to help people, but you are doing well from it, you are influencing people. Finally, I have just got 10 really quick questions.
Yeah, well, I'll try and answer them quickly. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, do you know what? I'm so rubbish at these quick fire ones. I got asked, and if you ask me this, who would you have at a dinner party? Is that one of your questions?
No, don't worry.
Oh, I was so bad at that. I picked like 3 random people, and after I finished, my mate who was there with me when I was filming it was like, "You are such a dick." I was like, "Oh, sorry, mate."
Right, are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, toast or bread?
Bread.
Worst scam you've ever come across?
Crypto mining.
Best experience you've ever had?
In Ibiza. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Favourite YouTuber other than yourself?
Do you know who I like? And I've just done an interview with him. Roberto Blake's a good lad. For any new YouTuber, definitely follow his channel. Absolutely brilliant.
I'll have a look. Best joke you have?
Best joke. I'll have to pass on that one.
What? You can't pass?
Well, what's your best joke? I'll ask you first, and then I'll answer mine.
Okay, I've got one actually. What do you call it? No eyes.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I'd rather not say a joke like that than say that one. Jesus Christ.
What? Well, that's good.
Terrible joke.
Okay, pass, fail. Favourite celebrity?
So shit. I honestly, I'm not into celebrity culture, but I quite like Kano. You know, the rapper, UK rapper, Grime? Like, yeah, I'd go Kano. He's my son's favourite artist.
Okay. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Not really. It's hot and cold, isn't it? Pineapple's nice, but just not on a pizza.
Jam and peanut butter on toast. Should that be a thing? Yeah?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I can do that.
Biscuits or sweets?
Biscuits. Don't like sweets.
Do you not?
Not really. I've not really got sweets. Honestly, I told you I'm the most boring person ever. I'm like the most boring millionaire you'll ever meet in your entire life. I still shop on ASOS, low to high, in the sale as well. £4 t-shirts, I'm all over them.
Can't beat it. That's probably why you're a millionaire. Everyone else needs to take a leaf out of your book. And one bit of life advice that you would give anyone?
Honestly, it would be, if you want to be successful in life, don't go and listen to people that are desperately trying to tell you they are successful. We all know who's successful. And I would say make a list of the top 3 most successful people that you can think of in the thing you want to be successful at, and try and copy what they do rather than someone trying to tell you a shortcut. So it really is like hard work underpins everything. If you work hard, and do the things that the successful people have done, you're going to be far more successful. You might never hit the actual end goal that you want to, but if you work towards it, you'll be in a far better place in a year's time, 2 years' time, 3 years' time. If you're expecting results in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, sorry, mate, you fucked it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Now, I hope you all enjoyed that interview with Mike. I know the main thing for me that I learnt was you need to be realistic and you need to work hard. If you're realistic with yourself, what you're doing, make sure you know what you're doing and where you want to be, you'll eventually be successful. The other thing that really stood out was about watching, gym motivational videos. Instead of watching it, just go and do it. And that is so important for everyone watching this. If you've got a dream, you've got a goal, just go and do it. Make sure you know what you're going to do and you will get there. Now, you can follow Mike here. If you have someone that inspires you, comment below. I'm always so interested to find out who others find inspirational. Likewise, if you have an inspirational story to tell, comment below, drop me a message on social media, or even drop me an email. On Sunday at 4 o'clock, I'll be speaking with successful YouTuber Elliot Steffens about how he became successful and how he grew his subscriber count. If you've enjoyed this video, drop me a comment below to let me know. Give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit subscribe. Speak to you all on Sunday. See you later.